What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the left side of the map in the blue color, playing as Isis. His name is Skady. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Zeus. His name is Ulysses. This is game number 5 of this best of 5 for the Champions League playoffs, quarterfinals. Playoff season, ladies and gentlemen. Very excited to see how this game is going to come out. These guys have been very equally matched thus far in this tournament. We're moving into this final game on Midgard. Winner of this game goes on to the semifinals. Loser of this game's season ends with them sitting in, I guess, somewhere between 8th to 5th place. Whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Anyways, very exciting. We see Isis, we see Zeus. This is a absolute classic matchup, ladies and gentlemen. Isis versus Zeus on Midgard. We've seen this one a million times, and we're going to see it a million times more. In fact, we actually saw Skady play the flip side of this matchup against Chemo in the group stages fairly recently, if you remember. And I'm surprised to actually see him deciding to play the Isis here, considering how confident he was with his Zeus. But maybe he feels like he can do something that Chemo can't with the Isis here. And for a very long time, Isis has been considered one of the strongest gods on maps like Midgard, Anatolia, even Calm Shores, these kind of hybrid water-land maps. Isis has a lot of success on these sorts of maps. However, the longer this game goes on, the more you realize that while Isis is definitely good, it's not a free win for Isis anymore. You have to play well. You definitely have to play really well. You've got to get super good usage out of your Ancestors Eclipse. You've got to control your ships really well. You have to defend really well. Players are going to be able to utilize civilizations like Thor, like Odin, like Loki, like Zeus, like Poseidon here, like even Set is actually really good here as well. Uranus, Gaia, Kronos, all these gods, and I nearly named every single one of the gods. All these gods are really, really good on this map. And it just comes down to playing well at the end of it. And that's why I love this map. I think this is one of the best maps to really separate players' skills, because there's just so much stuff you can do. There's so much necessity in understanding the strategy and understanding what you should be kind of deciding economically speaking, deciding militarily speaking, defenses in the mid game with like hammer ship raids and things like that. There's just so many opportunities for weaknesses to be exploited in this game. And the fact is, you need high APM, you need smart understanding, and we'll see how it's going to go as Skady at this point here. He's got himself his 5 villages on gold, 5 villages on wood. Ulysses, on the other hand here, he's going to be splitting up his villages into 11 villages on wood here. So probably going to be getting a little bit of a later advance time than otherwise, but he will be spamming out those fishing ships quite fast. As he's got his 2 docks down already, going to be looking to even place a 3rd dock down as well. Lots of good fishing places here for both players. This is sometimes you can get a kind of less than ideal Midgard map, where the fish kind of gets spawned in a bit of a strange place. But the answer is always, and we're actually seeing Ulysses not do this, the answer is to always send a fishing ship scouting when you send that villager out. Because look at this. I can tell you that there is going to be fish somewhere here, and it's here. There's also fish here. So you want to send that fishing ship out across scouting. And if he saw this spot here, he probably would have put the dock down on this position. But because he didn't, he's kind of taken a risk to look over here. And I think he's kind of got it, but it looks like the dock is maybe a little bit too far back, as we see a perch on that position as well. As the game going to continue, we see the temple coming up here for Skady. A little bit late, he's wanting to empower that one up. He can garrison his fishing ships and get himself to the next age relatively fast. But it looks like Skady is going to be taking a later advance time. I don't rate this. I think that Isis on this map should be looking for a 5:15, at the very latest a 5:30 advance time. But a 5:15 is just your optimal advance time, because you get per scene faster. And the faster you get per scene, the more food you're going to be able to get in. Advancing later with more fishing ships doesn't make any sense. You're still going to get the fishing ships out anyways, because there's only a certain amount of fishing spots you can actually gain. But we're going to be seeing Skady going for what looks to be a nearly 5-6 minute advance time. Walls are up already for Skady to defend his main base against any sort of impending action here, as we see Hermes coming through for Ulysses. A significant advantage in the advance time for Ulysses, as Skady at this point, plenty of villagers on the wood over here. He's dropping down on a second lumber camp, which I'm not sure if I 100% agree with, given the empowerment of the Pharaoh. Monument to the villagers coming through, hand axe, pickaxe coming through for Ulysses as well, as Skady has not yet been able to afford. Well, he actually can afford it now, so let's see if he's going to start getting those through in the near future. 19 fishing ships for Skady to 22 fishing ships for Ulysses. Generally speaking, you only see players going up to like 18 fish here, but 22 for Ulysses, as he is pumping those fish out like a madman here. And Skady on the other side of the map, he is just saying dock spammage is the way to go. And actually, Skady is building more fishing ships out himself here after realizing how many more fishing spots there actually are on this map. As you see the villagers coming out, Skady wants to probably drop down an armory here. He actually hasn't put his houses down. He hasn't put his houses down. This is going to be a tragic here for Skady as the villager gets pushed back. The trireme is here for the moment. Oh, Skady is putting his houses. Where are they going? Oh, he's putting them up over here. Okay, fair enough. Why not put them in a random place? As the fishing ship's trying to get this dock up, but as the cabinet's coming through to defend, he's going to have to garrison under this position and try and hold here. Ulysses with plenty of food in the bank here. One thing you can do, which I've been thinking about a little bit more recently, is you can actually put more villagers onto wood to get more trireme out. And then once your food hits this position, which I mean Ulysses already has, then you kind of want to jump everyone over onto gold to get yourself that 500 gold to advance to the next age. As you do see prosperity coming through, as Skady's going to be wanting to advance to that next age as soon as you possibly can. 5 cabinets out, 5 triremes out, more than enough to defend here for Skady, as Skady sends that villager back in to finish the dock up, and that's going to be a nice position for Skady to be in now. Good micro here from Skady as well. He's also sitting underneath the dock, so this is basically advantage Skady. There's no restoration either for Ulysses here. Is look at this, the food coming through, the prosperity comes in nicely. Love that opening here from Skady. He's going to be able to hit that heroic age in very, very speedy fashion, an 830 heroic age while building cabinets here. Absolutely huge. The armory just about to come up as well. The villager will finish, the armory will come up, and he will be able to go through Nephthys here if he so chooses. Looks like he's choosing an extra villager. Maybe he'll cancel that one. Nope, just going for the extra villager instead of the heroic age. No problems there, but just a little bit later. Ulysses, on the other hand, will be able to advance fairly soon, dropping that armory down with all of his villagers here. And I imagine we see Dionysus here from Ulysses. There's not really a whole lot of other options here, and he does go through Dionysus. He's got a villager on the favor as well. So the thing is that the reason why Zeus is good on this map is because of Dionysus. The reason why any civilization is good on this map is generally because they've got a heroic age that has got access to a myth unit, a water myth unit. So Egyptian has got the Leviathan, Greek has got the Skylar, Norse have got the Kraken, and Atlantean has got the Nereid. If you don't have one of those myth units, you have to have a really good reason to be playing that god on this map. And sometimes that reason comes in the shape of like Thor having an incredibly strong kind of early game, Gaia having a strong early game as well. So those gods can kind of play around that. But every other god needs to be having those myth units to make themselves have a really strong time. As we see the heroic age coming in, the Sphinx moving through, and I imagine, Bolt coming down onto the Sphinx there to deny the Ancestors Eclipse from coming in onto that position. There's the heroic age from Ulysses as his Hydra starting to move across. We see the Jason pushing forward, looking around the map as well, as Ulysses sitting back. He's got his 14 trireme as arrow ship cladding coming through. And I'm not gonna lie, Skady is playing this game very, very similar to what I think is absolute meta for Isis. The only thing that he's not done just yet is click Ancestors Eclipse onto the economy of Ulysses. So you can see how many villages are on this position. Obviously, that bolt came through onto the Sphinx, so he couldn't use it. But I would assume that Ancestors Eclipse has to come down here as soon as it humanly can, as Heavy Cabinets is in, and that pushes the Ulysses units back. But Ulysses has got these Skylar, and there should be a Leviathan here. Now, the Leviathan has 12, nearly 10,000, 1,000 HP, and it does a decent amount of damage, 25 damage. Doesn't get any bonus damage versus myth units, but the Ulysses Skylar does have 40% hack armor, so it is a decent counter, or at least an assistance here for Ulysses. As we do see the ceasefire coming in, Ulysses has bought himself the time, and this is great. Ulysses has played that really nicely, delaying the Ancestors Eclipse from coming in for as long as he possibly can. This kind of means that Ancestors Eclipse on the economy, not going to be worth it here for Skady in the slightest. He's going to have to figure out something else to do in this game with his Ancestors Eclipse, which probably does mean some sort of a gold-starved attempt here is going to be possible, as Skady, I mean, he's got his market up. He's not going to the next age. He's getting himself a third town center. The Migdol Stronghold has been denied here. Players sitting idly on this position over here. And here's the thing. Ulysses' aim in this game is not to win the water. It's not to get a gold staff. It's basically just to survive. If he can survive, he wins this game. Because Zeus's late game against Egyptian cannot survive. So we see Heroic Fleet coming through for Skady actually to try and deal with those Skylar. It's not that expensive of a technology. I think where would it be? No, it's only 400 resources, basically, with the favor cost as well. As the village is going to start moving forward, a Migdol Stronghold going to come up here. He's going to try and sneak this up, as Skady is now getting himself some Hippocon out. The big thing sorry, not Skady, Ulysses is getting his Hippocon out. The big thing that Ulysses has here, which is going to help him out hugely, is that he's got himself both Dionysus and Hermes here, meaning he's got access to Spirited Charge and Thracian Horses, which makes this Hippocon really, really strong. But Skady here, he's got to know this. He's got to start thinking about crenellations and towers, as the Skylar getting taken down really fast now thanks to the Heroic Fleet. And Skady is going to be completely fine. Ulysses retreats back, no problems for him, but Skady is going to be able to start putting some pressure onto that fishing economy, as Skady is getting himself set up on this position. I'd love to see some towers or something coming through here, as we do see Ulysses coming in with his own Hippocon here. Skady with those cabinets here probably needs a little bit more population in the land, as the spearmen now coming around onto this position to get a couple of shanks onto the villagers. The villagers turn around to take a fight here. They probably shouldn't be doing that, as Ulysses comes in with his own Hippocon here. He still doesn't have any upgrades there. Both players spending their resources relatively well. As Ulysses comes through here, he's going to attempt to block the retreat here. The spearmen taking this fight for the time being. It's not a bad fight here for Ulysses by any stretch, as we do see the Ancestors Eclipse getting dropped onto this position. The Siege Tower pushing through. The Cabinets moving through on this position as well. There is that Leviathan now with 5.0 speed. Lots of damage. Searching around to pick off fishing ships and everything else. As the Siege Tower coming through here, the village finishes off the walls there as the Hippocon retreating away. The villagers taking out the Siege Tower on this position, as more Siege Towers trying to come through. As Skady, he just wants to lose his Cabinets. He's trying to get as much value out of it as he possibly can, taking down some of those fishing ships as his units fall here. He's got 30 seconds left with those minions. There is another Migdol Stronghold coming up on this position to hold that gold mine. There's no other gold mines really on this map here for Ulysses. This is really smart by Skady. If he can get a gold staff here, it will be game over for Ulysses, as the spearmen coming through here to try and take out some villages as well. The minions getting dealt with, but they're still getting good value, taking down a ton of units here, as this Cabinet's putting so much pressure onto Ulysses, onto this position here, as the Migdol Stronghold just about to come up. Skady pushing through. The villagers are all idle now on this position, so Ulysses has got no gold left in the bank, as more Siege Towers will be pushing out of this position here. As Skady here, he's got that Migdol up on this position. The villagers moving over onto the gold mine down on the back. They've still got themselves 3,000 gold here. We see villagers moving through here. Skady will be spotting that on the minimap at some point here, as the chariot archers are moving straight past that location, and we see Skady now. He can just ignore the town center, push over onto these villagers here, but there's now an army for Ulysses here still remaining. How are the armory upgrades here looking? Really need to be thinking about getting yourself copper mail here if you're Skady, but Skady at this point looks like he's going for the Mythic Age instead, trying to continue to put the pressure on. He's got the setup here with the monument to the priest as well to defend against any sort of lightning storm, but all of the spearmen here seem like they're getting pushed back, and we do see Osiris has been clicked up by Skady. Still no pressure over onto this gold mine from Skady. He hasn't noticed it just yet as Ulysses is setting up the buildings here to control the gold mine there. Meanwhile, we do see Ulysses putting some pressure onto Skady's fishing ships here as well, as Skady is desperately trying to take out as many fishing ships as he possibly can, hurting the economy here of Ulysses. But it looks like Ulysses here has managed to hold after that Ancestors Eclipse has come down. A fortress getting dropped here as well to get some Petropolis out and start pushing through here. Crenellation's coming through for Skady. Do we see any of those huge upgrades through for Ulysses? No, he hasn't gone for him. Copper Mail coming through for Skady now as he's deciding to get himself some armor upgrades. And the villagers getting pushed off of this gold mine for the time being. The buildings are up already though. And Skady, he might want to just try and put himself his own Migdol stronghold here just to secure that. His villagers idle at this point as we do see the bronze. Where did he use? Oh no, he's missed his units completely. I'm not sure what happened there, but Ulysses has completely blundered his bronze on this position. It hasn't hit any of these units. As the Hydra is starting to get a little bit scary here, we do see a couple of priests are out to deal with that for the time being here. As the villagers coming through here, Migdol Stronghold coming up, there is looking like there's no siege works here to take out these buildings. As the siege tower is sitting in here, playing nice and defensive. Those priests need to micro onto that Hydra here, as it's got 3 heads here. As we see the Mythic Age coming through, the Pharaoh, son of Osiris, is in, and there's City of the Dead here for Skady as he's starting to get those catapults out. Meanwhile, the Trireme's still searching around, taking out units left, right, and center. We see those fishing ships having to garrison themselves in, as it looks like Skady has stopped putting the pressure on onto the fish of Ulysses for the time being here, as the priests cavalry coming through. Cavalry, you hate to see cavalry. I don't think cavalry are really ever a unit you want to be building here, as the villagers are on this position now. We're now starting to see some raids coming through here as well. As Skady, I mean, probably doesn't need to put all his villagers over here. He's got a gold mine down the bottom. He's got a gold mine over here. We see the catapult out here at this point, going to start going after the town center here, as Ulysses, 153 of 160 population, still taking villagers down, or fishing ships down all over the place. But the villagers getting pushed back here is going to be hurting Skady considerably. The Migdol Stronghold's doing some good damage to defend here, though, as that catapult gets pulled back. The towers are coming up here with crenellations. There's no upgrades for them just yet in terms of the guard towers or anything else, but that will be coming through fairly shortly here, as the town center getting torn down. The villagers here still dealing with those heavy hippocon here, as well as the trade route has started for Skady in this game. Same too for Ulysses. He's got himself the donkey caravans coming through, as Skady's ISIS here about to take the town center down. And will that be enough is the big question. Ulysses is still stuck in the heroic age. He can't get to that mythic age dream that he needs to, and losing this town center gives Skady such a huge advantage. He's going to have 169 population plus another 22 population after all is said and done, if he can get the town center up for himself. Meanwhile, units coming through here to try and take down the stables here. The villagers have managed to migrate down onto the bottom gold mines here, as this gold mine is just about to be expired as well, with Ulysses struggling to find himself a next gold mine in this game. It looks like the fortress falling, and this gold mine is actually going to get pushed off immediately here as well. Ulysses here struggling to deal with the son of Osiris in this game at this point here. He's still going for those raids on the water. It seems he's moving around with those ships, trying to get as much damage as he possibly can here, as the villagers pushing away from this location. We see the chariot archers pushing in, the villagers coming off of the gold mine here. And what else can Ulysses do in this game, as Skady breaks through with his army? He's got the gold staff, and Ulysses taps out, and Skady manages to find the victory here in this game after all is said and done. What a game here by Skady. I think Ulysses' mistake was not going in with the Thracian horses and the Spirited Charge upgrades when he had the chance, just retreating away from the minions, and maybe even taking the loss on the town center for a time being, and then come back in after that. He probably would have been able to hold on a little bit and get to that late game and find a win. But Skady, what a game here. Really, really nice play. He goes for that fast draw, gets the second town center, gets his third town center during the ceasefire, manages to find himself an advantage here in this game. And Ulysses, with those gold mines, even with a back gold mine here, he just could not make it work after all is said and done. And Skady wins it in 5 games here, 3-2. Congratulations to Skady going on to the semifinals. Unfortunate for Ulysses dropping out in the quarterfinals, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. If you guys enjoyed this game, enjoyed this series, enjoying this tournament, please let me know by following on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next game.